Good morning, my friends. My name is Marianne. Today I want to speak about the leadership. So there are many different kinds of leadership. There are in purpose 3 forms of leadership, but there are many others too. So first kind of leadership which I want to speak is democratic leader. He asks what means democratic leader. He asks the advice of everybody, or he can listen to everybody. He can request one another in an open attitude, a dialogue. His motto is, what are you thinking? We are more intelligent when we are together or when we are several. And second type of leadership is authoritative leadership. The leader imposes his view, his thoughts. He decides by himself, but he doesn't explain his vision. He controls everything. Maybe his motto is, do what I say. He likes the performance and he desires that everything must be done quickly. With efficacy, we cannot give another opinion than one of the leader. For the team who has this kind of leadership, there are no motivations, no full engagement from the team. And third kind of leadership is collaborative leadership. This leader likes and believes in the collaboration, the cohesion of the group, the harmony, the favorite. He favors the collaboration, the interaction with his team. He reinforces the confidence. He gives the means to work nicely in good atmosphere. And he can work with the people together. But maybe a good leader have to little bit from the all types of leadership to have good balance. Then who is a leader? A leader is a person who influences a group of people towards an achievement to a goal. Thank you for your listening.
Hi, my name is Mehul and I am here to talk about a subject which crosses our minds, a practice of ages past and millennia ago that is still being continued today and will be for centuries to come, with or without our knowledge of its existence. It's a deplorable practice being continued on a scale unfathomable, a tradition consigned to the books of history, dismissed as a relic of the past by all scholars of future generations to come in discussions and debates conducted in mighty halls. I ask you this, what comes to mind when you hear the word slavery? Men in chains bound, toiling on cotton fields in South Africa. Women and children condemned to a life of servitude. Black men, workers working for their white masters. It's a dark practice with a darker history and an even darker origin. I'm here to try to shed light on this subject in a modern context. Images we assign to slavery relate to physical labor, but slavery has an even darker and depraved side which most of us are yet unaware of. It might boggle your mind to learn that slavery can be inherited. Mind you, this is much darker than it sounds. I am of course not talking of physical ailments or hereditary diseases which might come to your mind when I am speaking of this. The thing I am talking about is the mental dimension of slavery, mental slavery. It might prove too difficult then to conceive an understanding of this reality. Imagine this, a slave laborer who achieves freedom at the age of 20 decides as his first act to take his own life the moment he's set at liberty. What does this tell you? No, there is no liberty for a man or a woman or a child destined for a life in slavery. There is only misery for such men. Their fate is consigned to oblivion. This is the reality of modern slavery, which occurs behind closed doors. How do you dare escape your misery? How dare you escape your misery? Ask fate of these men. They can't bear the prospect of freedom. It's a burden for them. Imagine this, freedom being a burden for men of today. Emancipation, an unthinkable reality for these men in chains. How difficult is it then to abolish this practice? Next to impossible, I say. No social measures have been proven to be effective. No help can be provided to these men who toil in the dark to no end at all. I have one more passage. Estimates of 27 million people still bound in slavery, twice the number it was in 20th century prior to the war, have been made. So slavery is still thriving in society. In a society we consider largely peaceful and considerate, compassionate. There is no hope for these men, but with time and patience, progress can be made. However, this dark reality of modern slavery has an even darker future ahead of it. It would seem that. Thank you.
Who is not able to develop his mind is bound to be the slave of the man who is able to. This is a quote by Marcus Garvey. Good morning. I, Karina Makija, am here to give you a picture of the hard reality of our minds. We often look down on slaves. We consider them worthless and irrelevant. But are we any different from them? Are we better or are we worse? Today, our bodies might be free, but our minds are still held captive. We are trapped by misconceptions about ourselves and about the world. Some claim to be fully conscious, but when come to face with reality, are unable to face reality. Mental slavery affects how people see their own reality. This manipulation has always been through mainstream media, religion, and education. By a show of hands, can everybody tell me if they are religious? Only one? You're not. Are you religious?
Religious.
Right, okay. How many of us depend on these beliefs to make ourselves feel better? Okay, let's keep this in mind and move on. How many of us are dependent on other people for their ideas? We don't develop ideas of our own even though we can. We depend on another source, maybe our teacher or our parents, to give us these ideas. How many of us do that? Okay. How many of us are afraid to open up our mind and speak up our mind because we are afraid that we'll be let down? I see a pattern here, and this is a pattern of mental captivity, and this is what we need to get out from. And a question will then arise is, how do we do that? Has anybody heard of baby elephant syndrome? Okay, I will talk to you about it. There was a little baby elephant who was tied with a very tight rope to a tree, and obviously his first instinct was to escape from that, because nobody wants to be held captive. But since he was so little and just born, he was unable to do so, and after a while he gave up. A little while later, once he grew up, he was tied again with a thinner rope this time, and he freed himself with very less effort. And what we learn from this is to let ourselves out depends on us and our efforts. I'll tell you a few ways of how we can do that. One, that we should believe in ourselves. For us to do anything, we must have faith in ourselves. If we do not have faith in ourselves, then there's nobody else that can help us. We must work hard. Faith in ourselves alone will not help us get anywhere. Only if we work towards our goals can we be productive and do something for ourselves. One is to turn positive situations, one is to be positive and turn the negatives into positives. We must envision the future and try to remain focused on our goals. We must never give up. We have three options. One is to give up, one is to give in, and one is to give the best we have. And the first two sound easier, but fruitful outcome is when you give everything the best you have. And with these few things, I think we can escape mental slavery, and it is up to us to do that. So I'm going to end on a note from a quote by Les Brown. He says, "The biggest enemy you have to deal is with yourself. If there is no enemy within, then no enemy outside can do us any harm." Thank you.
Good afternoon friends, my name is Parth Anand and today I am here to introduce you the topic which I really am interested in. Let's make India great. You know, India, I'll tell you something about India. It's the 7th largest country in the world and is the second populous country with over 1.2 billion people. You know, second populous country in the world. But there are many things which can be improved in order to make it great. First, it's not that every country has its own problem that needs to be fixed. We cry, complain about them, blame the government and the system, and finish off saying that the situation is unfixable. How about we stop playing the blame game and try to do it a little bit and end this and bring a lot about a change. After all, it all starts with you. You are really going to enjoy this time we're going to spend together, and I'm going to share with you some of the most important ideas that we have ever discussed in this area. Some of the points which I think is important for this topic are: first, stop littering around. Yes, एक कदम स्वच्छता की ओर. You must have listened to this campaign. Yes, we should learn from the Swachh Bharat campaign. There was a reason we needed it in the first place. The fact was that even the new Prime Minister of the country, Shri Narendra Modi, addressed the issue on such a gigantic level, proves that as a country are in a dire need of cleanliness. Things as simple as throwing garbage in the bin and not spitting on the streets can make a very huge difference. The second point is corruption. Don't accept bribes and don't give bribes. It's as clear and it's as really simple as it is. It starts with you and ends with you. Bribing cops to get out of not paying the challan, or bribing officials to get the passport or the driving license renewed, we all tend to bribe. Yes, it's true that it's tough to get things done in this country on many levels. If bribing is not involved, but there has to be a start to change. Let that be you. The third, make India safe. We all know that our country is not safest for women. It is necessary to change the mindsets. Help in doing by holding decisions with people who are narrow-minded. If you are a guy, don't be the part of the group that teases women, passes cute comments over them or talk demeaningly about them. We should make such a people realize why they are wrong. If you are a girl, take your safety in your own hands. Learn self-defense techniques and be cautious all the times. The fourth point is unity in diversity. India boasts about the nation where all religions find equal importance and recognition. But sometimes we all have end up in facing intolerance and violence among different religious sects. In a country such as ours, we should keep omnism our priority and don't let the forces who try to divide us conquer us. Fifth point, monuments and public places. Often we see that places of national importance are turning to ruin mainly because of ignorance by the authorities. To add to it, visitors throw their garbage and trash everywhere and anywhere. Some engrave their names in the walls of the places, click photographs illegally, and spit everywhere they find it convenient. All this adds to the degradation of the place. we should always discourage these acts and do something in order to stop this by informing the authorities there. Now I will conclude this by saying that above all, be a good citizen of the country. Know what is happening around you. Take active interest in the development of the country and help your fellow citizens as and when you can. The last knowledge which I would like to give, that is an extra knowledge, is that a small fact for a knowledge, India is one of the countries which has never colonized any countries. Thank you.
My name is Karina and I'm here to talk about mental slavery. What image does the word slavery bring to your mind? Men forced to do inhumane work under the whip of their master? Perhaps you may think slavery is a very old, obsolete concept that died down years ago. If so, you're wrong. Our ignorance towards slavery might be making it difficult to disrupt it. Modern slavery and human trafficking are hidden crimes. One of the major problems is detecting these crimes. An even more concerning problem is that criminals may not see their action as slavery and victims may not see themselves as slaves. Superstitions have captivated our thoughts and it is very difficult to come out of these. These superstitious beliefs make the humans do the unwanted. And neither freedom nor slavery is limited to outward political conditions. We can enslave ourselves to jealousy, to hatred, to sensuality, for instance. But the spiritual fact is that we can set ourselves free if we are willing to pray. Embracing such spiritual freedom can bring more peace to those around us and our minds as well. We must ask ourselves questions like, are we jealous? Do we hate people of certain religions? Are we fearful of certain racial or ethnic groups? Are we afraid of people judging us? These are thoughts we need to detach ourselves from. We must start loving ourselves and the others around us. We must not care about people judging us. This might not happen overnight. We have to be willing to give up our hatred and fear and to learn the trust in God. The unity and love in God can bring major changes in our life. Therefore, we must give up mental slavery.
I would like to say a good afternoon to my respected sir and my dear friends. I would like to speak on the importance of education, which is must used to know by all of us. Education play a great role to the life of everyone in those in the life. Getting proper education is very necessary to get successful and happiness. Life just like a food is necessary for healthy body. It is very important to learn. It is very important to live luxury and better life in development personality of people, provided physical and mental states for transfer people's living status in proper to Good afternoon everyone. I would like to speak on importance of education, which is must know by all of us. Education play a great role in the life of everyone, all those in the life. Getting proper education is very necessary to get a successful, happy and live food for a necessary body. It is very important to live luxury and better life. It is developed personality of the people, provided physical and mental states for transfer people living status. It promotes the feeling of physical, mental and social well-being by providing better life of education. It develops personality of the people, Good education is constantly in nature, which concern for future forever. It helps a person to provide his or her status of mind, body and spirit. Speaking. It provided us lot of confidence by getting us back of knowledges in many fields. It is a single and victor way to success as well as personal growth. The more knowledge we get, we grow the development more in the life. Being well, education never only mean to earn satisfaction and good salaries for the reckoning and reputed organization, company or instruction. However, it is also mean to be a good to us indeterminate whether something is good or bad for us and other person related to us. The first person of getting good education is being good citizens and their being successful in personality and professional life. We are important without a good education. Because education make us right thinkers and correct decision maker. In such a competition work, education and become unnecessary for human being after food, clothes and shelter. It is able to provide a solution to the problems. It promote good habits and awarenesses about incompleting without a good education. Because education make us a right thinkers and right correct decision maker. It's such a competition work, education and become a necessary for human being after food, clothes and shelter. It is able to provide a social to all problems and promote good habit and awareness about correcting terrorism and other social issues of money. Education is the most important tools of our inner and outer stress to the person. Education is the fundamental right of the everyone and capable of bringing any decision change and upliftment in the human mind and social. Thank you.